Hey, Noah here. Welcome to part 24. I got it right this time. 24 of my Contempt of Court Let's Play. Last time, we questioned Detective Smith, and we learned that there was apparently Brisbane found a dagger in Snow's office, which could be the murder weapon, but it can't because Snow couldn't have returned it to his office because he got arrested. So, yeah. Sorry, I had to answer a text for a second. Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Snow says there's something else Detective Smith is lying about. In that case, I'd better find it sharpish. What a waste of time. Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. There's indeed a decoration in Snow's office. I've seen it in there myself. Under analysis for bloodstains. It's not important. It might have been the real murder weapon. Oh, that is not what I clicked on. Yeah, it's true. Secondly, it was found in Snow's office on his desk, not on a wall-mounted rack. What else is wrong with this testimony? I don't see what Snow's talking about. Arrested immediately. Yeah. Uh-huh. We just need to wait for the blood results to prove that the stiletto was used that night. Let me press this one again. You believe Oh, that was it. Okay. I'll press through it again. I'll press each statement one more time just to see what happens. You've seen it before, huh? You tell me about it? No, I asked you. Oh shit. Alright, so first statement and last statement aren't useful. Nothing important. Where's your evidence? Oh. Okay, so I guess that's not important at all. Either. Wait. Did I press this already? I can't remember because I kept speeding through the text. Secondly, it was found in Snow's office. Let me try pressing this one again then. Okay. Wait for the blood test. Oh, a small widening of the wound suggests that the chest was the entry point. A small widening. It can't be the murder weapon because it's a small widening, not... Well, it is a dagger. Like, it's a really big dagger, but I don't know. That's my only thought. So I'm going to save and I'm going to present the autopsy report to that. If that's not it, then I don't know what it is. That's it. Okay. I have a big problem with that statement. Brisbane, I'd like to ask you a question if you don't mind. What? The stiletto dagger. Your case pretty much rests on this being the true murder weapon, right? At last you're beginning to realize. Yes, the prosecution's case rests on that stiletto being the object that took the victim's life. Problem? As I said, a big problem. I'd like you to take a closer look at the stiletto for a moment. Which part of the stiletto are we supposed to be looking at, Mr. Wright? The blade, of course, Your Honor. Notice how long and thin it is. There's no change in width or any sort of serrated edge in sight. Now I'd like you to take a look at page 2 of the autopsy report. What's this? It reads that there was a small widening of the wound. Exactly, Your Honor. The shape of the wound matches the knife found on the table. The stiletto's blade is too thin to have made that widening of the entry wound. So I had it flipped. The dagger is a lot. The dagger's blade is a lot smaller than the knife's blade. You fool! You thought you caught me out for a second, didn't you? The killer could have wrenched the stiletto around, opening up the wound. Wrenched, sorry. What would be the purpose of doing that? A direct penetration of the heart isn't enough to cause instant death? Gah! Aha, you had him lost for words, mate. Nice going. Excuse me, Your Honor. Oh shit, that was the same voice. Sorry. What is it, bailiff? Court is in session. I have some lab results for the prosecution, sir. Aha, the coup de grace has arrived. Come on, boy, hand over the document already. Those must be the results of the blood tests conducted on the stiletto. There's going to be blood on there. Any ambiguity of it being involved with the crime will now be cleared. Will it be for the better? Well, Mr. Brisbane, did the stiletto hold the blood of the victim? I wish I could savor this moment just a little longer, but the law comes first. I just wish I could save the look on Snowball's face when he sees... Yeah, get fucked. Get fucked. Well, was there any blood on the stiletto? No! What? Toji? Bailiff, what is this trash? So the lab results say that the stiletto, proclaimed to be the true murder weapon by the prosecution, had nothing to do with the case whatsoever. The stiletto was just a red herring all along. And that can only mean... Your Honor, if I may, by all means go ahead, Mr. Wright. Due to the fact that there was no blood found on the stiletto by the forensics, clearly it wasn't used by my client to murder Perry Docks. That seems to be the case. What the fuck do you have to say now? Judge, you can't just toss aside my decisive evidence like it's... Mr. Brisbane, I was speaking. The defense is correct. The stiletto couldn't have been connected to this crime at all. Mr. Brisbane has seen fit to waste our time with desperate distractions. A penalty to the prosecution for such unacceptable behavior. I did it. The judge is now in favor of the defense. I couldn't have gone any better, mate. You saw through that desperate bluff and you've almost... Here we go. I'm not finished yet, wrong. So, it turns out that my decisive evidence wasn't so decisive after all. You've proved that what I thought was the murder weapon was just a piece of circumstantial garbage. But, if you think for 1 second that you've put Snowball in the clear, you'll rue the day you became a defense attorney, my friend. Do I have to go over there and give him a slap? Seeing as how you're still the defendant of this trial, that's probably not a good idea. So what if the stiletto had nothing to do with the crime? Snow was still the one who killed the victim, and I don't need evidence to prove that. Not while I still have my witness. The witness who caught you red-handed in the act. Ah yes, this so-called decisive witness of yours. Thank you for your testimonies, Detective Smith. You may step down now. Sure thing, Your Honor. Now then, the prosecution may summon... Maggey Bird, come out here. Mr. Brisbane, do not interrupt me again. Looks like Brisbane is starting to lose his influence over the judge. This court summons the witness to the stand. Name and occupation. Keep it short. Name's Maggey Bird, sir, and I just recently rejoined the police force. Tone the cheeriest down, Miss Bird. I'm not in a good mood today. When have you ever been in a good mood? What a rude man you are. Do you want my testimony or not? Since that's what you've been specifically summoned for, what do you think? Alrighty then, sir. One testimony coming right up. This is the part I'm most worried about. Maggey claims to have seen Snow commit the murder, and I know she wouldn't lie about this. I was patrolling Block A of the prison that night on my own. While approaching the interview rooms, I heard raised voices coming from one of them. I ran over to investigate and found the door open slightly. I looked in and I saw Detective Snow standing by the body. He then turned towards the door and then ran for me. In a state of panic, I managed to cuff him. Then I escorted him to the detention center. You just said he was standing by the body. That doesn't mean he killed him. I see. And this is how the defendant came to be arrested? Try getting out of that one, Snow. Should I say, Mr. Wrong? Mr. Right, you may begin the cross-examination. I'll just press everything, I guess. All by yourself? Yes. So? I thought that officers had to patrol the prison in pairs. How come you were alone? Oh, right. The truth is, Mr. Wright, that I was meant to do prison patrol with a partner. But we, had a disagreement. Really? What sort of a disagreement? He was being a jerk, taunting me, saying that I was too scaredy cat to patrol the prison at night. I'll show you, I said. I'll do it all by myself. Then who's the scaredy cat, huh? So you did your patrol alone just to prove someone that you're not a scaredy cat? That's right, sir. Why? Are you calling me a scaredy cat too? What? No, of course not. I found myself worrying about the level of maturity in the police department right now. But the joke's on him. Blockade barely held any prisoners at all. Oh yeah, there was nobody in Blockade due to the chief's mass transferal. No one except for Volper and Maplethorpe. So you were patrolling Blockade alone. What happened next? Did you recognize any of the voices you heard? I remember hearing Detective Snow yelling something about lights. Did you hear any other voices? No, sir. I don't think I heard anybody else's voice. What do you mean by you yelling about lights? Have you forgotten already? Forgotten what? Exactly. Don't you remember about the blackout? Oh yeah, that completely slipped my mind. What's that about a blackout I hear the defense whispering about? According to my client, Your Honor, there was a blackout that hit during the interrogation. Blackout? Is that so? And this would justify what Miss Bird said about the defendant shouting about lights? I think this blackout might be a useful piece of information regarding the murder. So you heard the defendant's raised voice. What did you do next, Miss Bird? Could you see into the other room? Into the room, not the other room. Only a small portion of the room from where I was standing, sir. I could only see the side of the table that the officers were stood at. Or should I say officer? Could you tell us more about what you saw, Miss Bird? I guess I should. You saw what? There was a body slumped over the table, and Detective Snow just seemed to be standing there looking at it. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. This is fine. He just saw the body. Whatever. I need to press her for more info on what she saw. But there are so many questions whizzing through my mind right now. Okay, Phoenix, calm down and collect your thoughts. Let's take this one question at a time. What should I ask Maggey about what she saw? Let's just go top to bottom. Could you describe what Detective Snow was doing in more detail? I'll try, sir. Let's see. For the most part, he seemed to be just standing there looking at the body. That's all I remember, I'm afraid, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Uh-oh. That's not enough for my liking. That not enough for my... Maybe I should ask a different... That not enough for my liking. Okay, yep. Was there anything else about Detective Snow that you noticed? I'm not sure what you mean, sir. Was there anything about his appearance that struck you as odd? Was he wearing any gloves, for instance? Gloves? No, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. I clearly remember when I handcuffed him, he had nothing like that on his hands. Detective Snow wasn't wearing any gloves. Wait a minute. Then that means... Your Honor, think back to this knife for a moment, supposedly the murder weapon. Ah yes, clearly the murder weapon, since that stiletto was nothing but a red herring. What about it, Mr. Wright? Miss Bird just stated that my client wasn't wearing any gloves of any kind, and the only fingerprints on this knife are those of Volper and Perry Docks, the victim. Meaning that Detective Snow did not touch the knife at all. The defense may be onto something here. If Detective Snow had meant to use the knife, he most certainly would have used gloves. But seeing as none were found on his person nor anywhere else in the room, please continue your testimony, Miss Bird. And one more question. Was there anything else in the room that you noticed? Not really, sir. There was just Detective Snow in the body. Nothing else stuck out as... What? Just Detective Snow in the body, what? Oh, wait a minute. I think I just remembered something else. The victim's body. There was something lodged in his back, sir. What? Can you describe what you saw in more detail, please? I didn't really see it that well, but it was something long and thin. Long and... What? And what's the only long, thin object in the court record, Mr. Wrong? That's right. Snow's detectives... Holy shit, I need to... Sorry, I just got a text. That's right, Snow's decorative stiletto. Order, order! But Mr. Brisbane, it has been proven that the stiletto had nothing to do with this case. Maybe. But what's the defense's take on this object? You can't be serious, Brisbane. That stiletto is still a vital piece of evidence until you can discredit its purpose entirely. So how about it, Mr. Wrong? Are you up to the task? That's impossible. The stiletto had no traces of the victim's blood on it. So what was this long, thin object that Maggey saw lodged in his back? Long and thin. Like a wire. But it doesn't have Paradox's blood on it. It also has Vulper's. I don't know. I'm not sure. I might as well press that. What do you think the object was, Miss Bird? I hate to say it, sir, but I have to agree with the prosecutor. That long, thin dagger looked an awful lot like what I saw. Of course, I couldn't see it very well at the time, but that can't be possible. The stiletto had no traces of blood on it. That's unnecessary badgering of the witness. Stop it. What she thinks the object was doesn't matter. What does matter, however, is how you can disprove the stiletto being this long, thin object. It doesn't have any blood on it! Don't give me the same duh, it had no blood on it excuse. The presence of what might be this object can't completely discredit it altogether. What the fuck is that sentence? Okay. I'm forced to agree with you on this one, Mr. Brisbane. A long, thin object exists. An object that the witness saw lodged in the victim's back. Although the stiletto has no blood on it, we can't yet disprove its value as evidence until we know for sure what this long, thin object was. There must be some way I can prove that the stiletto wasn't this object. In the meantime, Miss Bird may continue with her testimony. What happened next after you saw the defendant? Yeah, these are the two last ones, so I'll just press these two and then go back. Why? Ran for you? That's kind of exaggerating things a bit, wouldn't you say? Detective Snow, control yourself. Only the defense may question the witness. I'm sorry for wording it like that, sir. It's just that the prosecution told me to say... Quiet! Brisbane told her to say that Snow ran for her? That's desperate. Let me rephrase what I said. He ran towards the door but didn't seem to notice me. I stepped back as he burst through the door, then... You arrested my client then and there, all by yourself? That's right. Did he resist at all? Resist? When face to face with Officer Maggey Bird, of course he didn't. It wasn't quite as dramatic as that. I didn't resist because I had no reason to. Only a guilty person tries to resist arrest. I can't help but notice that there are too many vague statements in that testimony. Pressing would be a good place to start right now, and then see what we learn as a result. Yeah, so let me go to something long and thin lodged in the victim's back. Yeah, let me save here. And then I'm going to try the wire. Let me just make sure there isn't anything else that I could see. Yeah, I'm going to try the wire. Objection! No! Damn it. That's not it. Ran for you? No. In a state of panic, I managed to cuff him. Then I escorted him to the detention center. Um... Exiting through the back. Huh. Let me try that. Let me just save one more time. I know I literally just saved, but whatever. That's not it either. Okay. That's not even relevant. Under analysis for fingerprints, it's already been analyzed. I don't know anymore. Maybe this? No. Okay, well, I've presented a few things. I am officially stuck. There is nothing I can think of, so I'm gonna look at the guide for this one. Okay, so to this one, I just present the knife, which I guess makes sense because it's a murder weapon and it's not thin and long, so I guess. But I don't know. I wouldn't get it too attached to that stiletto if I were you, Brisbane. Let me ask you a question, Phoenix Blight. Blight. Clever. The stiletto is such a red herring. What did Officer Bird see in the victim's back? Why, this, of course. That knife? Need I remind you of what Officer Bird described the object as? Kiddo remind him, witness. I said that it was something long and thin, sir. Right. Now, which part of long and thin do you not understand? You are the one who doesn't understand, Brisbane. What? You've forgotten about something else. There's something in the court record that proves that this knife is what Miss Bird saw. There is? Well, it's definitely not that. It's not these three things. That doesn't matter. All of this is Vulper shit, so it has to be in here. Chest sideways. I'm trying to imagine what that would look like, and I can't really think of what that would actually look like. So well, I'm just going to present this. Well, first I'm going to save, actually, and then I'm going to present this. Let's take another look at the autopsy report. On page 2, it states that the knife entered the victim's chest sideways. Now, what did the victim do after he was stabbed? Didn't he fall forwards over the table? Right. Now try and visualize the scenario. Oh, that's disgusting. The body was face down with the knife's blade sticking out of his back sideways. Wait a moment. If the knife's blade entered sideways and the witness saw the body from the side... Precise... I'm confused, but I'm just going to go with it. Precisely. Miss Bird, it was this knife that you saw on the victim's back. I see. It all makes sense now. From observing the situation from the side, the knife would have appeared to be thin. Exactly, Your Honor. And what's more, when the victim fell forwards, the knife was driven further into his body by the table, meaning that more of the blade was visible protruding from his back, which easily could have been mistaken for the stiletto. I see. Rather than having an object lodged in the victim's back, it was an object sticking out of his back. Mr. Brisbane, I suggest that you stop relying on this stiletto as valuable evidence. So far, you've shown not one shred of proof that the defendant used it to commit the crime. So I haven't, Your Honor. Miss Bird, I have a question for you if you wouldn't mind answering it. Of course not, Your Honor. Fire away. What you have told us so far appears to make sense, but there's just one thing that strikes me as odd. What's wrong? It has also been brought to our attention by the defendant that there was a blackout that night. How were you at all able to see what you have described if the building was pitch black? That's what I was confused about as well, sir. What blackout? Huh? What do you mean, what blackout? The lights were on while I was patrolling the corridor. And when I looked in the interrogation room, the lights were on in there too. Oh, I just knew there was something I forgot to explain. Well, I can explain what Officer Bird is saying, Your Honor. You can? Very well. Please tell us more about this supposed blackout. During Volpa's interrogation that night, there was a horrible storm blaring outside. All of a sudden, the power was cut and the room went dark. But I could see that the lights were still on in the corridor outside. That could have only meant one thing. The lightning must have struck the individual power box for the interview rooms. The station has many different power boxes for the different sections, see? I see. We'll have to run an investigation to make sure that this really happened. Examination of the power box for that room should provide us with the evidence with the proof the court needs. There's just one more thing I'm confused about, Detective. If a bolt of lightning did indeed strike the power box as you said, then why is the witness saying that the lights were on when she looked into the room? Yeah, explain that, Snowball. How exactly... you didn't let me finish. Okay. Auxiliaries. Well, that was easy. What do you... Auxiliaries? Yeah, auxiliaries. The station has an auxiliary or backup power system. In the event of a power box shorting out, the auxiliary power system kicks in for that sector. And how long does it take for the system to turn on after a power cut? Around 15 to 20 seconds, something like that. It doesn't happen often. So yeah, that's why Officer Bird didn't know anything about a blackout. And by the time she reached the door, the backup power system lit the room again. Very well. I'm inclined to regard what you have told us as the truth, Detective. However, I still feel that the power box should be looked at for lightning damage regardless. Any objections to this from the prosecution or defense? Detective Snow seems sure that's what happened. And as he is my client, I have to trust him. No, Your Honor. The defense has no objections to this investigation. And neither does the prosecution. Want to know why? Humor me. Just because Snow might have been truthful about the blackout. So what? What does it change? What about Snow's innocence does it prove? Nothing! These auxiliary lights enabled a clear view of what Snow was up to. He has a good point. Justification for the blackout doesn't change what Maggey saw. Speaking of Maggey, I found her testimony awfully vague in places. Wonder if she saw more than she's telling us. Miss Bird, if you could, I'd like you to tell us more about what you saw. Miss Bird, if you would. Like I said, I can only see one side of the table because of the narrow gap. Detective Snow is standing over the body with his back to me. He looked across the table for a second, then turned and ran towards the door. I jumped back as he burst through and promptly arrested him, saying that I saw everything. That was a short testimony. He looked across the table, you say? It's probably nothing, Your Honor. Mr. Wright did ask me for more details. Who knows, this testimony might amount to something after all. Your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Oh, I'm gonna eat for a second. All right. It's a narrow gap. How narrow was the gap? Stupid question. Move on. All that matters is how much of the situation the witness could see. The gap was only large enough for her to see one side of the table. That's what's important. And even more importantly, what was the defendant doing, witness? With his back to you? Nothing about that sounds wrong, so... But you could still see the knife in the victim's back, yes? That's right, sir. Was Detective Snow doing anything suspicious, or was he just standing there? Just standing there from what I could see. But I guess there was something else. This is the weird one. You say Detective Snow looked across the table? Yes, sir, just before he made for the door. I believe I did, actually. You did? But why? Why do you think? Mr. Wright, I'm not sure that I'm seeing the point of pressing this statement. Unless I'm sorely mistaken. Maybe the judge is right. Pressing the statement probably isn't getting us anywhere. No, Your Honor. Miss Bird, could you continue your testimony, please? What the... Why'd you look at me like that? What the hell? Why? What did I do? I'm trying to help you, bro. You say you saw everything? Well, no, not strictly. I only said it to try and intimidate him as I thought he killed the victim at the time. So the actual witness of the murder itself is out of the question, due to both a blackout of the interview room and Maggey arriving at the scene too late. There are too many vital points missing from her testimony as a result. But there's one thing in particular I'm curious about. In order to explain it, I need to try and find the right moment to ask about it. What? What do you mean, wait for the right moment to ask about it? Maybe I'll present this? No. My head kind of hurts, I gotta be honest. Yeah. Ran towards the door. Probably arrested him. Maybe I'll try it on this one? No. I don't know. Only one side of the table. Maybe I'll try to Snow's testimony here? No. What the hell is it? I just tried this, right? I think I did. Oh, what the hell is going on? I have to be honest. I am now officially lost. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at the guide. Oh, okay. All right, that was simpler than I thought it was. I'm just being stupid. You looked at Vex Volper. Fuck off, WinZip. I don't care. Your Honor, I believe why Detective Snow looked across the table is very important. Oh, but what could be a reason for why he did this? There's one person involved with this murder whose actions have not yet been made clear, and the actions of said person would certainly be vital to this case. I may even go as far as to say this person's actions will reveal the true killer. Another person? You don't mean... Yes, I believe that we are all curious to know the movements of this particular individual. Vex Volper. Order, order, order! I'd forgotten about Volper, I must admit. So, Mr. Wright, if you're saying that the killer was someone other than your client... Yes, Your Honor. Don't you find it strange to think that Volper was just sitting there while the murder happened? He must have been involved somehow. Therefore, I believe a testimony from Volper is required to know exactly what he was doing during the murder. No! You mustn't allow this to happen, Your Honor. Please! I need to win! What's wrong with Brisbane? He looks like he's about to burst into tears. Remember what I was saying about he's torn between his hatred of Volpa and his desire to win at least one case at any cost? His frustration has been growing and growing, loss after loss. Frankly, it's killing him. He can't help it. It's just the way he's been conditioned. It's been drilled into his head that this is what he needs to do in order to control his emotions. Manfred von Karma. So he wants to win a case just to put an end to his increasing anger? Yeah, right now he's torn between convicting Volpa and convicting me. And since I'm the one on trial, well, 3 guesses which one he's trying to get guilty. But you know what must be done. You need to call Volpa to the stand. He needs to testify regardless of Brisbane's condition. Mr. Brisbane, where is Volpa now? Still in solitary confinement, Your Honor. I see. Bailiff, contact the police department and make sure they bring Mr. Volpa to court. Miss Bird, did you manage to see what Volpa was doing at all? I only saw Detective Snow in the body, I'm afraid. It was all I could see through the gap in the door. Wait, what am I saying? I did see Volper. Huh? You did? Well, you went back to investigate. When we went back to investigate, this is surely worth looking into. Your Honor, I'd like Miss Bird to give one more testimony while we wait. Is that okay with you, Maggey? Of course, sir. It's the least I can do. The least I can do? What does she mean by that? During interrogation, Detective Snow told us to go and check out the room you was just in. He told us there was an insane killer on the loose and that it was my fault. So me and some other officers went back to interview room 2. And we saw Vex Volper just sitting there, staring at the body. Before he had a chance to even speak, we subdued him and threw him into solitary. Luckily, he seemed to have just sat there the whole time. Strange, really? Strange indeed. So Mr. Volper was just sitting there? It sounds crazy, Your Honor, but he wasn't doing anything. It was as if he was sitting there. It was as if he was sitting around waiting to be arrested. Sitting around waiting to be arrested, huh? I, for one, am most curious to know what his motives were for behaving how he did. Mr. Wright, you may begin the cross-examination. And once you have done so, I would like Mr. Volper himself brought to the stand. Brisbane really doesn't want Volper to testify, all because he knows that Volper will most likely be found guilty. And Snow will be innocent, meaning that he would have lost yet another case. It's kind of sad to hear about the emotional trauma Manfred von Karma put him through. That he's been told to win cases in order to pacify his self-destructive rage. But I won't let him win if it means that an innocent man goes to prison. I have to do this, for Detective Snow's sake. Did every officer go? Of course not. Then Detective Snow would have gotten away. Bro's face. He's just in disbelief right now. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean... Height, no offense. I am the crazed killer here, after all. I just hope the judge isn't so gullible as to believe what you just said, Detective. Only 3 of us left the room. Only 3 of us left the room, sir, myself included. We only went because... Because... Oh my god. So you're saying that Volper had ample time to escape? I didn't know there was anyone else in there at the time, let alone one of the city's most notorious criminals. I tried telling her while she was arresting me. What did you think the 2 officers were doing in an interview room in the first place? Wouldn't you have thought that there was somebody else in the room with them? As strange as it sounds, sir, I thought nothing of it. I was so shocked by what I was seeing that I didn't think about anything else. That makes perfect sense, witness. So when Snow told you that there was a crazed killer in the next room, what did you do? How far did you have to travel to reach the room? Since we are also in one of the interview rooms interrogating Detective Snow, room 7, I think. It only took us about 10 seconds to run to room 2, sir. I see. So they would have seen Volper flee from the room as they were heading that way. Well, and what happened once you reached the room? We charged into the room. Was that all he was doing? That's right, sir. He looked frozen, to be honest. That is weird. With Snow taken away, the coast was clear for Volper to escape. Why didn't he run? What did he do next, Miss Bird? As we stood in the doorway, he very slowly turned his head towards us. Volper already had a cell. Why take him straight to solitary confinement? Because while we were interrogating Detective Snow, he told us what had happened and that there was another murder in the next cell to Volper's. While we went back to arrest him, some officers went to check out the murder he was talking about. We were told not to return Volper to his cell in case the murder had actually happened. You couldn't take him back because of the investigation of both cells, right? Right. We chose instead to throw him into solitary where he couldn't cause any more harm. I'm surprised he didn't make a break for it as we took the defendant away. Just sat there. You're right, it is strange. Any ideas as to why he didn't make a break for it? No, sir. But when we entered the room, he just sat there staring at the body. He didn't even notice us until I spoke up. I think we have now heard all that we need to from this testimony. Let me reiterate what we have learned from Officer Bird's testimonies. She saw the defendant and the victim's body in the room. A room which was previously in darkness, leading to the murder of Officer Perry Docks. The defendant left the room and bumped into Miss Bird, who promptly arrested him. During Mr. Snow's interrogation, they learned of another murder which had occurred in a prison cell, and of course the presence of ex-Volper in the room with the victim. The police found him still in the room and proceeded to place him in solitary confinement. Are we clear on what has transpired thus far? Yes, Your Honor. Yes. Very good. Thank you, Officer Bird. You may step down now. Hey, Mr. Wright? Yes, Maggey? Hope my testimonies haven't been a hindrance to you. I don't actually believe that Detective Snow is the one who killed the victim. I'm just telling you what I saw, that's all. No. I wouldn't say that your testimonies hindered me in any way. But rest assured, with your help, I'll find the killer and ensure that he is brought to justice. Really? Thank you, sir. Glad to help in any way that I can. I hope you catch the guy, whoever it is. I promise you I will. Why was she glaring at me when she said that? Maggey said herself that she didn't really think you did it. Now the Volpers entered the trial, I think a lot of people are going to rethink their suspicions. Now, I believe we are soon to be graced by the presence of Mr. Volper himself shortly. The court will now take a 30-minute recess while we wait for him to be brought to us. And while the interview room's firebox undergoes examination for damage from lightning, to see if the defendant's story of the blackout is indeed the truth. Court is adjourned. You heard it here first, mate. Oh shit, I messed it up. You heard it here first, mate. You've seen Brisbane's true self coming to the fore today. His obsession to win a case has him really putting the pressure on me during investigations. Perfection is his goal, nothing short of perfection. It's just too bad he's never even been close to perfect. Now do you see what I've had to put up with on a daily basis? Perfection, huh? Phoenix, robot. Sorry, robot. Hi, Detective, what brings you here? Just thought I'd come seeing how things are doing on this side of the wall. Hi, Runwick. Any word on Volper yet? Oh yeah, that's the other reason I'm here. Almost forgot. You almost forgot about the most important thing right now? Had a call from the precinct that he was being brought here in a police convoy. The prison van should be entering the court premises around about now. Holy shit, oh my god. According to what they told me, he didn't come quietly either. He had to be tranquilized before they were able to take him into the van. Holy shit, oh my... Tranquilized? Why would Volper put up a fight just for being asked to testify? Unless... I know, right? He must have something to hide about the murder. What about the Mablethorpe murder? Will that be addressed during the trial? Of course. From what I understand of yesterday's trial, Volper was found to be the most likely suspect of that murder, yeah? Most likely suspect? He was the only suspect. No doubt that the final verdict for that trial will be rendered today, too. And depending on Volper's stance on the Docks murder today, he could be facing the chair. Listen, I'd best be off now. The prison van should be here by now, and I need to meet with the escort party. Good luck, Phoenix. Robert. You heard him, mate. This is Volper's final chance to cooperate. And how likely will that be after hearing that he had to be tranquilized to be brought here? Yeah, I know. Doesn't bode well for his well-being, does it? This is it. This is the part of the trial where we learn the truth. Was it really you, Volper? Was it you who killed Perry Dox and Cedric Maplethorpe? What did you have to gain from it all? What was your motive? Rest assured that I will find whoever committed these murders, the true villain of the piece, and ensure that they are brought to justice. The fuck? 12:15 a.m.? That's a really late court. I think that's supposed to be p.m., but whatever. All right, you know what? I have been recording for almost 50 minutes. Jeez. Next time, we're going to go into court, question Volper, and see to the end of this case and see what... I'm losing my words. We're going to get to the end of this. We're going to question Volper and get to the end of this case and see who really killed Cedric Maplethorpe and Perry Dox.